trumping a threat to democracy is something that Joe Biden ran on in 2020, and obviously it was effective for him because he won in 2020. Now it's a different race. It's 4 years later. Obviously, before 2020, January 6th hadn't happened yet, but now we're living post January 6th. But we're almost 4 years removed from that. What do voters care more about? Do they care about trumping a threat to democracy, or do they care about those kitchen table issues like the economy, like inflation?
Well, what they care about is partially up to how effective the campaigns are in terms of how they push the argument. Logically speaking, in most elections and most campaigns, if two-thirds of the people are unhappy with the economy and the direction of the country, if the job rating of the current president is 40 to 42%, if people are upset about inflation, in most campaigns, those issues in the end turn out to be the issues on which people vote on. But there's no ironclad rule here, right? Obviously, what Harris is doing is saying, "Hey, he's the incumbent, not me. I wasn't president, and I'll be a different kind of president. I'll turn the page." And so, are they buying her argument? To some extent, they are. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in a 50-50 situation. This race would have been over a long time ago.
And we are in that 50-50 situation. So as we sit here 3 weeks out, when you look at this poll, when you see how close the numbers are, when you see the demographic breakdown, what is Trump's biggest strength and his biggest weakness? And what is Harris's biggest strength and biggest weakness? And what do they need to do between now and November 5th?
Well, Trump's biggest strength is his advantage on the economy. He tends to push immigration far more than the economy, but his biggest strength, I think, is more in the vein of the economy, and his biggest weakness is January 6th. It is this notion. I think that he's not fit to govern. That's what they're saying. I'm not saying it's true or not, but I'm saying that they've convinced an awful lot of people that's the case, and so he's out there. And I think his second biggest weakness is also, when we look at the polls, in this poll, it's very interesting. We ask people, do you want a national type ban on abortion? They say no. Then we say, well, do you think Harris is for it? They say no. And then we ask, do you think Trump is for it? They say yes. Trump has said, I am not for it. I will veto it. But the Harris campaign has convinced people that that's not true. That you can't believe what Trump says on the abortion issue. And so that probably is his biggest weakness. That's why he did a town hall with women only yesterday. So he's pushing back on that weakness. And I think over in the Harris camp, right, her biggest strength is that she's new and fresh, right, and her biggest weakness is she is on record with a lot of extreme positions, and those tapes can be played over and over again. And she hasn't successfully answered why she's any different from those positions that are really unpopular. And so I think that's pretty much where it stands.